It's not easy to define poetry. It has always been difficult, complicated, chaotic, not only to understand poetry in its entirety, but also to define and to provide our own opinions, understandings, thoughts about poetry, about a particular poem of a particular author or poet is going to be even more difficult, complicated, chaotic, and perplexing than we imagine it to be, or than we're willing to think about it, or than we have thought or anticipated it to be. Because poetry in itself, in its raw definition as syllabus, is neither easy nor simple nor straightforward for anyone in the world to understand, because it's marred by complications, chaos, it's symbolic, alliterative, metaphorical, indirect all the time. And there is only few poetry in the world that is simple, straightforward, written in plain, expressive kind of language, and most poetry is complex, chaotic, and vague and abstract. And but then again, we can understand poetry in our image, in our understanding, knowledge, experience, etc. But when we are told or when we're expected to say something on the poetry, on the understanding of poetry, then that will be difficult. And when we are required to provide the others with our own opinions, thoughts, understandings of the kind of poetry we have read or regarding poetry itself, then that is going to be a nightmare. That will be more difficult, complex, chaotic than anything we have faced before in education, in studies, and not in necessarily in real life, because the real life is much more difficult than any education and studies or branches of knowledge we have read or we're ever going to read. Real life is mayhem. Real life is warfare, battlefront. It's not just the struggle or suffering for ambition, power, success, money, riches, but it's absolute war against the others' opinions, judgments, perceptions, notions, thoughts, actions. It's really the fight against the collective ego, the collective arrogance, ignorance, uh, basically misunderstanding, misinterpretation, misjudgment, and many other problems as well, including pride, vanity, ego, envy, hostility of the collective unconscious against ourselves, against the man of superiority and the authentic, powerful, knowledgeable, superior, sovereign, distinct, virtuous, talented kind of man. So obviously, it's neither easy nor simple not only to understand poetry but also to say something of poetry in our own understanding, and also to provide our own opinions, thoughts, feelings of or regarding poetry. So it's all difficult, complicated, chaotic. It's always been that way, and it's going to remain that way because poetry is meant to be complicated.